Good evening, folks. Just thought I'd try a slightly different format, something a bit more chilled, and have a little bit of a chat. Yeah, I don't know if I'll get a copyright strike for playing this music in the background, or even for having that on the TV, but to be honest, right now it doesn't really matter. These are just LED flame effect light bulbs that just flicker. Quite realistic. It's a lot more of an orange glow. In fact, this video is just doing it no justice. I was thinking about society as it is today. I'll try and keep the camera as steady as I possibly can. And comparing it to other stressful times in relatively living memory, there are still people around that remember World War II and the Blitz and the bombing and the air raid sirens and the stress of all of that. And then later on, during the late 60s through to the mid 80s really, when we had the threat of the Cold War, the possibility of nukes and all of that. And I think that taking both of those into account, I don't think either of them really have had as much of a dramatic effect on society as this event that we're all living through at the moment. If you see the blanket going up now and then, that's storm. I'll get back on topic. I was meant to go and see I see my dad every Wednesday, which has been a bit difficult recently because he's having radiotherapy. Now I've come down with something, and I'm not a man flu kind of guy. I mean, you've seen so many of my videos, it's coming up to, it won't be long before we hit the 300 videos mark, and I'm never ill, but I just feel like a dead weight, and sneezing fits, and I've tried loads of home remedies and stuff, and nothing seems to have done the trick. So I've been in bed all day, and I had to cancel my dad because if he, if whatever it is I've got, which I'll get over, no problem, I'll get over stuff dead quick. But if he catches it and ends up with the sneezing fits that I've had, that could be a big problem with him getting radiotherapy, because you've got to be really, really still, and sneezes are involuntary. They make you jolt. So yeah, I just had to be put off. Hopefully see him, in a few days instead. So with World War II, yeah, there would have been lots and lots and lots of people out there that would have been going to bed at night thinking, will I wake up in the morning, or will I just become part of the rubble of what used to be my house? So that was one of, many fears of many people in World War II in this country and across Europe. But people banded together, They came together. I mentioned that in previous videos, that people do come together in adversity because everyone's got a common cause, a common threat, a common fear. And I do believe that that's what's happening now, to some degree, just different. And then there was the Cold War. So I think in the back of the minds of most adults, and maybe some kids, because I was one of them, you know, I had nightmares when I was a child about the age of, I don't know, 8, 9, of atom bombs going off. Dreams, you know. So it affected people of all ages, that threat. And we overcame it, and we'll overcome this. But this is very, very different. This is proper, full-on psychological warfare. And I think that's one of the reasons why it's been deemed a spiritual war, because I believe that's exactly what it is. And which is one of the reasons why we have to keep our spirits up, our spirits high. And I think in order to do that, we've just got to tap into all of those things that used to give us joy before all of our time, or a big massive chunk of our time, was suddenly taken up by doing research and watching Rumble videos and BitChute videos and YouTube videos, and you know, all the other sources that we use, not particularly good for us, you know, long term. So we she's getting too hot now. I have got the heating on as well, even though I've got the fire on. Now she's trying to make a nest. So yeah, try and get back in touch with all of the things that you used to really enjoy, whether it's music or socializing. I know that some of you guys are on your own, and but that's not going to stop you from doing some of the things that you loved or love. You know, try and tap back into it. You know, art was very therapeutic for me, but above all was being in the countryside. You know, being around the trees and the hills and the rivers. Perfect. I was dead set on going to the caravan this weekend, but I'm going out with some friends for a few drinks on Saturday night, so I might see if I can try and find a way around that and just limp my way there in a car with 4 gears until that gets repaired. But yeah, you know, we've never been in a situation where what we're looking at on a screen is getting us to think, is this real? Is this AI? Is this person sincere? Do these people mean what they say? Is this change that's about to occur going to benefit us? or is it all just part of the show? And one thing's for sure, we will find out one way or another. And yeah, you know, just don't let go of hope. But in the meantime, just try and take time out just to relax. I mean, I've watched just every now and then. I'll get comments, and I'll get a notification. And as you know, if I get a notification that there's a comment there, I will respond one way or another, even if it's just a heart. And every now and then I've gone back and watched old videos that at the time I've completed the video, and then I've watched it back. Sometimes I've skipped a few bits. I thought, yeah, that'll do, that's all right. I'll upload it, and I'll upload it. And then I might watch it a week later, and I'll think to myself, you were a bit frantic there, mate. But at the time, I didn't think that I was. And the last video, you know, some people some people don't like the swearing. I get that, I understand that. And there are sort of two reasons why I do swear from time to time, sometimes more than others. One is because it helps not to push the channel, because the algorithms don't like swear words, and I've never wanted a big channel. And the other reason is that I swear from time to time, you know, and sometimes more than others, especially if I'm passionate. But that is all part of free speech, you know. Offence, if people don't like swearing, then nobody is forcing anybody to continue to watch or listen to me, you know. And that is the beauty of freedom of speech. It's very important. So yeah, and then I started to think, so yeah, that's me done. Going back to the world, we've got a different kind of, because of social engineering, and it is social engineering, very, very cleverly done. You know, I do watch the occasional video of urban explorers, you know, where they go around rough towns and cities and areas of cities in and around England mainly, because obviously that's where I'm from. But I've watched a few from abroad, you know, in America and Africa. But to see my country turn into what it's become, it's heartbreaking. Because it's my land, it's my home, and it just seems like it's just been left to degrade and fall apart for a myriad of reasons in a myriad of ways. And then we look at our police force, because it's not a service, it's a force. And a lot of decent police officers And when I say decent, they were probably decent because they've left. That's probably why they've left, because they're just seeing really shit examples of policing, and they've got their standards, their set standards, and they see the whole two-tier policing thing going on as well, and they've just thought, fuck that, you know, and they've just knocked it on the head. So what we've ended up with, possibly now, are a lot of police officers that aren't really cut out for stress and thinned out as well. So, you know, there's the possibility that because the training to become a police officer it's not that stringent. You know, a basic knowledge of maths, a basic knowledge of English, and an ability to follow orders. And I think that pretty much sums it up. So I'm looking at a world where society comes together afterwards, comes together, and we learn to lead ourselves and police ourselves. Going back to being tribal again. We've always been tribal. We'll always be tribal. It's part of our DNA. But it's how we go about it that matters. So, building up an ability to maintain self-control and justice, and encouraging whoever's left after it all to start making use of green spaces and learning to grow food and then trade that food, and trying to come up with natural ways of healing. And yeah, there is the possibility of a very, very beautiful, bright future on the other side of this hill. And yeah, I just hope I'm not the only one that sees that. I've got faith that will happen, but the road between this moment and that moment is going to be a tough one. And yeah, that's why I'm encouraging everyone to take time out and get good, solid, deep sleep. Eat healthy, exercise, put a little bit more thought into home defence, and if you can, self-defence, just to arm yourself with some tools and some knowledge along the way that will help you on the other side of this hill. And I'll see you there. And who knows, maybe we'll get to have that little congregation. Because I think that'd be lovely. I've just been in touch with 2 more of our little tribe, and we've penciled in a little meeting. So then that will be sort of 4. Well, there's more, but these will be 4 people that I otherwise would never have met. So yeah, to those of you who are struggling and stressing, think about the things that you loved doing. And most of these things are completely free of charge. Completely free. Just get creative. Don't stress. No fear. Much love. And ciao for now.